What's going on, family? We're gonna be hopping on live here with the one and only Tim Storey here in a moment for round two of our conversation that we've been having. And let's see if we can get him on here. As you're hopping on, let me know where you are watching from. I always enjoy hearing where people are watching from and kind of tuning in from. So let me know. What's up, Goodie 2300? Got the Awakening Alliance on here tonight. Let's see. Where's from Chile? What's up, Unc?
World Shaker.
How are you?
Doing good. So what time of the night
Good,
is
man.
where you're at right now? What time is
it? It is 9 p.m.
9 p.m. So you know I'm on the West Coast. It is 6
Absolutely.
6 p.m.
Yeah, absolutely.
So life is good for you,
Prime time.
right? Life is good.
Life is good. I can't complain.
So what do you think about not traveling as much as we used to travel?
It is both weird and a blessing.
Yes, I totally agree.
You know, yeah. It's great for creating content, not so great for getting it out.
Yeah.
And technology has been a great medium and platform for us to continue to reach the various audiences that we touch. But it's nothing like being in a room with
Nothing.
people.
Nothing like it. And there was a season, it seemed like you were on the road for like a lot of time. You were on the road a lot there for a while, weren't you?
Yeah, it was pretty jam packed for a while, and we've liked this season of kind of slowing down and really taking a moment. Me and Jen were kind of talking at the beginning of
Yeah.
quarantine. This is the longest that we've been home um, in probably 6 or 7 years.
No, that's deep. I didn't even know I had certain neighbors. Like they're like neighbors that are like waving. I'm like, when did they get here? So I actually asked one guy, I said, are you new? He said, no, I've been here 7 years. I'm 7 years old.
It is. It's so strange. It's so strange. We have neighbors that I haven't even met yet. It's so strange, man.
Oh yeah.
It is so strange. But again, grateful for the media and the technology, and grateful that we still can present the message to the audiences that God has placed us in front of. And so I'm glad that we get an opportunity for round two. The last Instagram live that we did was viewed over 500,000 times.
Yeah. Half a million
Since
times. That's a lot.
That's a whole lot of people. And now we got people from all over the world. I saw someone watching from Chile
Yeah.
on here tonight. We got about 1,500 people that's on live right now. And I just kind of want us to continue the conversation because it was packed with so much wisdom. And I think you can help us out a whole lot by just unpacking some of the things that are in your mind. And so, as I mentioned before, I've had the opportunity to walk with you and see what God has done in and through you for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as I can remember, and I consider you to be one of the pioneers who I would model what God is doing through me after, a mentor, someone that operates, touches different spheres, different circles. For a moment, can you talk about some of the mentors that you've had and the role that they played in your life?
Yeah. So number one, shout out to you. And I am your bona fide uncle. And I've been around you since
Yeah.
you were a kid. And your father is one of the greats of all time as a teacher, author, mentor, instructor, and your mother's gold. You know how much I care about your mom and dad and all your siblings. But I will say this before I even start: you guys go on more cruises than any family I've ever met.
It's true.
You
It's so
guys were
true.
always like on a cruise.
It's so true.
So
39, 39 prior to COVID, man.
39 and counting. So I think that, we were on this subject last time of, how a lot of people get stuck in the mundane, the messy, and the madness of life. And I think that when you get stuck is when you really realize more and more that you need a tutor, a mentor,
Mhm.
an instructor, somebody to help you get unstuck. Because I think a lot of people are people that have good intentions, but they don't know what to do next.
Mhm.
So maybe they're even getting drunk all the time and they're thinking, I don't want to get drunk all the time. They
Right.
have good intentions to quit, but they don't really know how to go about it. Or
Mhm.
I want to get closer to God, but they don't really know how to go about it. So one of the things that happens is that when you're in the mundane or the messy or the madness of life, you have to do these things. You have to, number one, become awake. You have to wake up. Secondly, you have to take inventory and say, like, where am I? And Tim, both of us have been there before, where we
Mhm.
knew we were off the path.
Mhm.
That not only did we have a delay, but we had like some kind of detour that we went like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
So when you need to get back to where you need to be, you need to become awake. Secondly, you have to take inventory. And then number three, and here's what's making us work, me and you, is that you have to find the right partners.
Mhm.
And I think that people are so hurt by other people that when you isolate yourself for too long, you're in trouble.
Wow.
Because there's a saying that says that when you're deceived, you don't know you're deceived because you're deceived.
Wow.
So if you're deceived and you're afraid to let any of us in, um, you don't know you're deceived because you're deceived. You got blind spots everywhere. So you have to have the right partners come into your life, not to pick you apart or to make you feel worse, but to show you the way.
Mhm.
So you got to wake up, take inventory. You need the right partners, but you need the right partners that have two things: the right mindset and the right motives.
Mhm.
And the mindset is where one sets their mind. And so the thing that I learned from your dad, Mac Timberlake, is that he was one of the greatest teachers on faith in the world. And the subject of faith is basically just aligning yourself with what God says. That's all faith is.
Mhm.
Faith is aligning yourself with what God says. So if God says that we're the head and not the tail, faith is aligning yourself with that.
Yeah.
If faith says no weapon formed against you shall prosper, you're simply aligning yourself with that. It's not
Mhm.
something I have to conjure up or stir up. It's just aligning myself with what God says. That's faith.
Yeah.
And so you become awake, you take inventory, and then you have to partner with the right people. And then I'll end this part with this: with the right mindset, as I said, but the right motives. And
Mhm.
that's a scary thing in life because it seems like so many people have an angle.
Yeah.
And so, like, I know you as little Timmy Timberlake, who's like coming up. I mean, I remember when
Mhm.
you were rocking like probably your first Air Jordans. And I'm like, man, he's got style already. He's super young, but he's got style. So I know you from then, but I know you now as your life coaching stars, as you're hanging with some of the biggest stars in the world and speaking at the mega churches, and people will take a shot at a guy like you because that's just how the enemy works. So you got to say, I need people with the right mindset and the right motives in my inner circle to take me to the right place.
Man, that's so good. We touched on this a little bit last time, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into it because I think that it's so powerful for people to understand that it's the assignment and the call of God on your life that has given you access to some of the biggest names that we know in today's society and culture. And it's because you operate in that assignment that these doors swing open.
Yeah.
And in culture today, we see people that are called with these graces, anointings, and assignments, reserve them, pull them back, shy away from them for those opportunities and not really expose them to the world. What was it for you that was kind of the line in the sand that said, you know what, I'm going to stick to my guns, whether these doors open or not, this is the assignment?
That's such a great question. I think only a question that someone like you would even be able to ask. So what happened for me is I got raised up fast in what we call the ministry. So at 20 years of age, a famous minister started taking me around the world. And I was speaking in Nigeria to 13,000. And then he took me to Philippines. I think next crowd was 17,000. Indonesia was like 24,000. But I'm 20, 21, 22, 23 years of age at that time. And so I was loving the culture that we were raised in because I was raised around a miracle mentality. Psalm 78, to believe in miracles, to expect miracles, to receive miracles, to become a miracle, and then to release miracles. Psalm 78 says, tell the next generation about the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord. Now, because I had been around it so much from these legends, Morris Cirillo or Roberts, who gave me a break starting at age 23. Could you imagine that? And I started teaching all the time at Oral Roberts University starting at age 26. So I was traveling the world as this guy, but what I felt is that the coat did not completely fit. And it's an interesting thing that when somebody wins the Masters, they say, how do they know what size that guy is that's going to win that has the green coat? Well, the inside story is, you know, they start doing their homework. They're down to like 5 people that could win. So they've sized up those last 5 to see what coat fits. That's deep, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it comes down to like 2 guys at the end. You go, whoa, man, one guy was 6'4", one guy was 5'1".
Right.
I think it's the right coat.
Right.
They got, like, for the top 5, they know what coat. They're sizing them up. And I feel like for Tim Timberlake and for me, your Uncle Tim, that the coat many times did not fit of religion. So I was bringing a God message of who Jesus is and miracles. But I think that within the confines of religion, I wasn't always feeling it. I felt like I was being confined and restricted.
Yeah.
And so that's why I birthed the Hollywood Bible Study when I was 32 years of age. And it was in that Bible study that, you know, I began to find some of the biggest stars in the world were just rolling out to see a charismatic minister who was bringing down the Bible in a realistic way. I mean, standing room only, because the biggest room we can get on Sunset Boulevard sat about 550. And we could get about 800 a night. So they'd be standing on the walls, on the floors, and this is for 14 years straight. So that was not like for a summer. That was not like a hot nightclub and shut down soon. That was 14 years straight. And then I took a 2-year hiatus. And the reason for that, Tim, is because it got too big. And they were beginning to call me a guru. And I would run into people at Starbucks and that in Beverly Hills. And I'd say, well, what church you go to? They go, no, I don't go to church. I follow you. And they started seeing me as a
Mm.
guru. And I said, okay, now they're getting it twisted here.
Yeah.
But I think that what I was able to do by the grace of God, and still do, as you're doing now, is take the Jesus message that Jesus came to take your ashes, your dead things, and exchange them for beauty. He never
Mm.
said, I will put beauty on your ashes. I will take your ashes and exchange it. And
Mm.
the world has been able to watch Tim Storey help all these celebrities and see so many change their ashes and change them for beauty. And so I'm doing that by grace. It's the grace of God. It's the assignment of God. I'm only a piece of the puzzle. That's what I do.
Man, that's so powerful. One of the things I love about you is you never go with the trend. Somehow you're always ahead of what society and culture needs. And so not only are you doing the life coaching, not only are you speaking at all these major conferences around the world, and not only do you lead a phenomenal church, but you saw this wave coming with substance abuse and really the mental health crisis in Hollywood, and you
Yes.
did something about it. What was it that you were seeing that just sparked this fire in you to be the catalyst for this movement that you lead now?
And again, thank you for that question that most people would not see. You know,
Hmm.
Magic Johnson, as you know, when he was playing for the Lakers, he saw the whole court. And
Yeah.
I think that God gave you and me a gift. I see the whole court.
Hmm.
So even though I was being invited to so many places in the church world, I knew that a lot of people that I needed to touch would not walk into that place.
Yeah.
So I needed to get outside that door and help. And so what I saw was a lot of people that were stuck in a setback, but they did not know how to get out. So I started creating phrases, Tim, like we're going through recovery and discovery at the same time.
Mm.
Recovery from our past, our present, but don't get so caught up in the recovery zone that you miss the discovery zone. And
Mm.
I would speak that to people that were secular, and they'd say, well, how do I recover? And I'd say, well, let me just tell you how I've seen people recover for all these years. Is like, you know, Isaiah 61, Christ really set them free. And I had gained their trust. And as you know, the biggest stars in the world we work with.
Yeah.
But that's the recovery zone. But now I needed to show them the God side of the discovery zone, that God is limitless.
Mm.
See, if you look at the guys today, like Kendrick Lamar, church kid, Pharrell Williams,
Yeah.
church kid, John Legend, church kid, Kanye West, church kid. But here's the challenge. A lot of churches try to
Yeah.
confine
Yeah.
and restrict, where I had no borders and boundaries, nor does Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus was teaching the Jesus style without borders and boundaries or confinement. That's very powerful, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so with the recovery world that I'm part of, at one time, part owner of 5 recovery centers, and now working with many recovery centers, and now working with ARC, with prison reform, with many celebrities who help us with that, is that you're right. I think the Lord allowed me to see ahead how strong this was going to get. And with the challenge of people looking to find a solution for their
Mm.
challenge. And so the mixture is the power of God with people who really care, and it's working.
Yeah. It is working. I mean, I have seen and talk to people who have been impacted by it, and I see the impact that it's not only having on the people that go through it, but their families, because of the care that you all are intentional about walking them through.
Yeah.
And it's
Very, very,
unique,
very
it's special.
intentional. I mean, when you got
Yeah,
a kid who comes into one of our centers, like I saw recently, 19 years of age, good looking white kid, wealthy family, heroin addiction, and he's shaken for 3 days straight. That's not okay with me.
yeah.
So I remember.
Lost your sound. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can you hear me? No. Hold on. Let's see. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can't hear you either. Hold on. Let's I'll cut it off and reboot it.